Hello, Packers fans. Welcome to Packers News. I'm Kassidy Hill. I'm going to give y'all a few more seconds just to kind of get some more people in here before we go over the inactives list. Seems like a few more are getting in here. We're about an hour and 15 minutes away from kickoff here at Lambeau Field. The Packers have put out the inactive list for today, so I'll go ahead and go over that. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Inactives for the Packers today: Quay Walker, Rudy Ford, Britton Cox Jr., Caleb Jones, and Samori Toure. Quay Walker and Rudy Ford are both due to injury. They are not a huge shock. They were both considered questionable after suffering injuries during practice from during the week. Quay Walker's is a groin injury. Rudy Ford's, I believe, is a lower extremity injury. And Quay Walker really was fine all week until Friday. He came in, said he was feeling a little tight and wasn't sure if he needed to go that day. And so the Packers kept him out of practice on Friday, and he is now out for today. Samori Toure, I think, is a healthy scratch. That one's a little surprising because he's been active and playing. But it looks like Malik Heath will kind of get the call over Samori Toure today. And then a couple of names that are not on the list to point out: Anthony Johnson Jr. and Zane Anderson, both safeties who are going to be called upon today with Rudy Ford out. Without Rudy Ford and now without Darnell Savage, who is on injured reserve, the Packers safeties are down to Jonathan Owens, Dallin Levitt, Anthony Johnson Jr., Zane Anderson, and I think that's it. I think that is it for safeties. So thin there today. So we might see both the rookie, Anthony Johnson Jr., Zane Anderson, the free agent who came over from the Chiefs, maybe get their first action today, at least on special teams for sure. Anthony Johnson Jr. has played a few snaps on defense. He's played 8 snaps, 4 snaps in 2 different games, just after Darnell Savage was first hurt, I believe, and kind of at the end of game situations. So it will be interesting to watch. He's also a converted corner. This is only his second year playing safety. He played safety his senior year at Iowa State. So could definitely be some growing pains there for Anthony Johnson Jr. at safety, not only as a rookie, but just as someone kind of adjusting to the role of a safety as well. At corner, Jair Alexander is active, so that should be good news for the Packers. He practiced all week, but you just kind of never know with that back how it's going to treat him from day to day. But the Packers, of course, traded away Rasul Douglas this week to the Buffalo Bills, kind of leaving a hole there at their outside corner position, especially considering Eric Stokes is still on injured reserve. So at this point, it'll go more so to just the rookie, Carrington Valentine, and the sort of veteran journey maker, Corey Ballantyne. Both of those guys are going to get called on a lot more, especially because Keyshawn Nixon is a slot corner. He's not going to play outside. So Ballantyne and Valentine are going to be the guys that are getting the call today. Probably Valentine, the rookie, first. Just throw him into the fire, let him get out there and figure things out. Both of those guys know that this is really kind of their opportunity, though, and this is their chance to show why they can be important to this team, and they're going to carry over a lot of what they learned from Rasul Douglas as well. Both of those guys talked this week about this opportunity ahead of them. Let's hear from them now.
Rasul was just about ball, you know what I'm saying? He didn't really have no outside distractions. He never let it. Rasul was with each other all day, so it's hard for me, honestly. But other than that, I don't got no answers. I don't lost.
Like I said, I'm young. I'm still learning a lot of ins and outs of things. I'm still kind of like grasping everything. So, it's always going to be somewhere that's going to be a focus point. There's a thing that we say around here is stay ready so you don't got to get ready. So even if I didn't see the snaps that were in the season, the beginning of the season, I always prepared like I was going to play. Because you never know.
Pretty much
much just to put my best foot forward. I'm not really focused on the things that I can't control. What I can control is how I come to practice, prepare, staying healthy, staying in the training room, make sure that I don't have any injuries and I'm available. And special teams, obviously, making sure I'm giving effort on special teams. Whatever I can do to help the team win, I'm all for. I don't really, the stuff I can't control, I've learned being in the league this long, I try not to worry about it too much. If I do what I need to do to be a better player, the rest will take care of itself. I always look to Jair to kind of lead our room. I feel like he sets a great example, and he always talks about the standard that we want to be the best. And if we want to be the best in the league, it starts in practice. And I feel like he does a great job of showing that. And regardless of whoever goes in the game to play on any given play, that standard is upheld, and that's kind of what he makes sure we all know that. So whether it's, whoever's in the game at that point in time knows that we have a standard in the room, and we need to play at that standard. So him, also Sab, I feel like he does a great job of leading us and controlling the defense and making sure we're all locked in and giving us confidence and making sure we're out there putting our best foot forward.
So we heard there from both Carrington Valentine and Corey Valentine about this role that is now ahead of them with Rasul Douglas being traded away, Eric Stokes on IR, and kind of getting that chance at outside corner that they might not would have gotten otherwise. So it's going to definitely be interesting, especially here having them play across from Jair Alexander. I imagine it'll be a lot of what it looked like in the Denver game with Jair Alexander on one side and Carrington Valentine on the other. And, Russell Wilson saw that as an advantageous matchup, and he took it. He didn't throw Jair Alexander's way. He threw Carrington Valentine's way pretty much the whole game. I'm sorry. It was Rasul Douglas and Carrington Valentine. He didn't throw Rasul Douglas's way that much. He threw a lot towards Carrington Valentine's way. And I imagine it'll be the same today, not throwing Jair Alexander's way, instead throwing towards the rookie. Speaking of who's throwing today, Matthew Stafford will not be playing. He is out with that thumb injury, so it will be Brett Rippon for the Rams. That'll be who the Packers defense is facing. Someone that Preston Smith admitted this week he didn't know who he was before this week, and someone that he had to kind of learn about. But he said, I know that if the Rams feel he's good enough to start, then he's good enough to play, and he's someone that we have to take seriously. So it's going to be an interesting matchup, because can they get to him quickly? Can they get to him early and sort of fluster him and, kind of get Lambo into it as well? Because if he has time to get the ball out, he has two of the best receivers in the NFL, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, to get the ball to. If they can get in space and work, then it can be a long day for this defense. But if the defense can really get after that Rams offensive line and affect Rippon in the pocket and push him out of the pocket and sort of fluster him early, then maybe the defense can kind of control this game and finally take over a game, as they have said many times they need to, as the offense sort of figures things out. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. We'll go for a couple more minutes here before we wrap up. But just to go over the inactive list again, because I know we've got a lot more people in here than we started with. The Packers inactives will be Quay Walker, Rudy Ford, Britton Cox Jr., Caleb Jones, and Samori Toure. Both Quay Walker and Rudy Ford are due to injury. Quay Walker with that groin injury, Rudy Ford with the lower extremity. Samori Toure, healthy scratch, get Malik Heath getting the nod over him. And as we said, with Darnell Savage on AR and Rudy Ford out, expect to see Anthony Johnson Jr., the rookie, probably out there at safety a good bit today with Jonathan Owens. Maybe could also see some of Zane Anderson, the free agent that came over from the Chiefs. Let's see. We've got a couple of questions in here. Randy asked, will Walker and Ford come back next week after the win over the LA Rams? That's ambitious, Randy. I would expect both of them to be back. It doesn't seem like either one of those injuries are long-term. Quay Walker has really just kind of popped up out of nowhere on Friday morning. And so I expect both of them to be back next week, and they will need both of them to face the Pittsburgh Steelers and Kenny Pickett there in Pittsburgh. So we got about an hour till kickoff, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up here. But make sure you stay tuned to PackersNews.com for full coverage as the Packers take on the Rams. Tom Silverstein will have his live blog starting in about half an hour as well. And then we will have wrap-up coverage for you here from Lambeau as the Packers look to get their first win in well over a month. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time.